Hey everyone! Welcome back to Bookshortz, the channel where we bring you powerful book summaries that inspire, connect, and make you think a little deeper in just a few minutes. Today's book isn't just a read, it's an experience. It's a heartfelt invitation to slow down, reflect, and capture something truly priceless, the life story of your mother. We're diving into Mom, I Want to Hear Your Story by Jeffrey Mason. This isn't your average book. It's a guided journal that helps your mom share her memories, wisdom, and the moments that shaped her into who she is today. Whether you're looking for a meaningful gift or simply want to know your mom beyond the role of mom, this book is a treasure chest waiting to be opened. Stick around, because what you're about to hear might just be the most touching and personal book we've covered yet. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a powerful book summary from Bookshortz. We break down books that move hearts and minds, and today's one does both. Let's get into it. There are books that teach, books that entertain, and then there are books that build bridges between hearts. Mom, I Want to Hear Your Story by Jeffrey Mason belongs to the rarest of the three. It isn't a memoir, yet it holds the essence of a lifetime. It isn't a novel, but within its pages are the makings of a deeply personal story. This is a book about your mother, her journey, her voice, and perhaps most importantly, the power of remembering. At first glance, it may seem like a simple guided journal filled with questions and spaces to write. But as you begin to read, through its prompts, the truth becomes clear. This is a map to something far more precious. It's a tool that allows one of the most important women in your life to open up, reflect, and share the parts of herself you might never have thought to ask about. And in that act, she leaves behind a legacy no amount of money could ever buy. Jeffrey Mason's book invites mothers to become authors of their own history. It draws on the timeless bond between parent and child and asks a deceptively simple question. Who is my mom really? The answer is not always obvious. We grow up thinking we know our parents, yet most of us only scratch the surface. This book helps us go deeper. It peels back the layers of roles and responsibilities, guiding readers into the real woman behind the title of Mom. The beauty of this book lies in its structure. It doesn't overwhelm or ask for an essay. Instead, it presents thoughtful, bite-sized questions that gently nudge the mind toward reflection. It starts at the beginning, childhood. Questions like, what was your house like growing up? Or, what games did you love to play as a child? Seem simple at first, but they unlock the door to stories about a world that no longer exists. These questions reconnect a mother with her younger self. They remind her of the sights, sounds, and smells of her own upbringing. They pull from her the people who shaped her before she ever became a parent. As the questions progress, so does the timeline of her life. The book takes her on a journey through her teenage years, her early dreams, her relationships, her career choices. There are questions about her first love, her biggest heartbreak, the jobs she held, and what it felt like to move out on her own. These are the stories that often go untold. They're the pages of a life that children may never think to ask about, yet they contain the foundation of who she became. One of the most compelling sections of the book is about motherhood itself. It gives moms the chance to reflect on the moment they found out they were pregnant, what it felt like to hold their child for the first time, the fears they faced, and the joys they discovered. These pages are often where tears begin to fall. This is where the connection deepens. Reading a mother's account of those early days, in her own handwriting, is like holding a piece of time. It brings perspective and emotion that can be felt for generations. But the book doesn't stop at memories. It also invites reflection on values, beliefs, and life lessons. It asks questions like, what are you most proud of? And what advice would you give to your grandchildren? These prompts invite honesty and wisdom. They provide the chance to pass on more than just stories. They allow a mother to pass on her heart. What makes Jeffrey Mason's approach so powerful is its balance. The questions are specific enough to spark memory, but open enough to allow for creative and emotional freedom. A mother can answer in a few sentences or write an entire page. There is no pressure to be eloquent. There's only the encouragement to be real. And in that honesty, the real magic happens. Readers have described this book as a treasure chest, not because it contains riches in the traditional sense, but because it holds the voice of someone irreplaceable. It becomes a personal time capsule, something a child or grandchild can open years down the line and hear the laughter, the sorrow, the hope, and the resilience of a woman who mattered. The design of the book also supports this intention. Its clean layout and spacious format make it easy to use. Each page feels inviting, not overwhelming. There is space for writing, room for photographs, and even blank pages for stories that fall outside the questions. It feels less like a chore and more like a gift waiting to be filled. More than just a journal, this book fosters connection. For mothers, it offers the chance to slow down and look back. In a world that moves fast and demands much, this process can be healing. It gives them a voice and an audience, their children, who now get to see them not just as parents, but as people with their own dreams and struggles. And for those reading the completed book, the reward is indescribable. It brings understanding, compassion, and often a deep sense of gratitude. This book is especially powerful for adult children who want to know their parents in a deeper way. Many of us reach an age when we begin to wonder about our family roots. We start to see our parents, not as figures from our childhood, but as individuals who lived through decades of change, choice, and consequence. This book becomes a guide for that discovery. It ensures that important stories aren't lost to time or memory. It gives structure to the questions we always meant to ask, but never got around to. It also becomes a sacred record. For those who have lost a mother or fear that day may come, this journal is a comfort. It preserves voice, thought, and essence in ink. It allows the legacy to live on, not in fading memories, but in written words that can be revisited again and again. Jeffrey. Mason wrote this book with sensitivity and insight.
His tone throughout is respectful, warm, and inviting. You can feel his understanding of the parent-child bond. He doesn't overcomplicate things. Instead, he clears a path for meaningful reflection and conversation. His goal is clear: to
help families come closer through storytelling. And in that, he succeeds brilliantly. Mom, I want to hear your story is the kind of book that becomes more valuable over time. When first given, it feels like a thoughtful gift. But once completed, it becomes a family heirloom, one that can be passed down, cherished, and reread in every season of life. Its value multiplies with the years. Long after a mother's voice has quieted, her story will still speak. In an age dominated by digital noise and fleeting content, this book is a return to something timeless. It reminds us that the greatest stories are not always found in bestsellers or blockbusters, but in the lives of the people we love. It teaches us to listen, to ask, and to remember. And most of all, it teaches us that everyone has a story worth telling. So, if you're wondering whether this book is worth sharing with your mother, the answer is yes. Not because it's beautifully designed, though it is. Not because it's thoughtful and practical, though it certainly delivers on both, but because it opens a door to conversation, to understanding, to legacy. It's a book that says, I see you, I value your story, and I want to remember it. Whether your mom is young or elderly, expressive or reserved, this book meets her where she is. It walks alongside her and says, tell me everything. And in a world that often forgets to ask, that kind of invitation is priceless. If you want to listen full audiobook for free, link on description.